money getting. This is kind of how I see it. I love that title. P.T. Barnum was a great American, man. I can't encourage you enough to go back in the day and read books, like read the Titans, read the books about the Carnegies and not just them, man. There's all kinds of there's other players in there. There's the guy that started Walgreens, the Woolworth and Sears and Roebuck, and there's all these other people that have kind of disappeared. P.T. Barnum. Yes. Hey guys, Gerald Peters, welcome back to the channel. You know that I believe that anybody, regardless of age, race, or financial situation, can build wealth in America, can get rich, can become a millionaire. I hope you enjoy part one of a series that I've been doing called The Millionaire Code, Back to the Basics, trying to get you ready for the end of the year so that we can start on time. So, money getting. This is kind of how I see it. I love that title. P.T. Barnum was a great American, man. I can't encourage you enough to go back in the day and read books, like read the Titans, read the books about the Carnegies and not just them, man. There's all kinds of there's other players in there. There's the guy that started Walgreens, the Woolworth and Sears and Roebuck, and there's all these other people that have kind of disappeared. P.T. Barnum was one. He wrote a great book called The Art of Money Getting. And he had his principles on life and business. And the guy owned a bunch of property, had a very successful business, actually became senator at one time. What PT understood is that eyes and people looking at you, he was an influencer before there was such a thing. You know, he was a YouTuber before there was YouTube. He was on TV before there was TV. He would bring crowds of people. And he understood that philosophy that all the money you want, someone else has. And that's kind of that seems obvious, but if you can get this philosophically, it actually helps your approach to life. And, you know, if you find that maybe you're a dickhead, maybe you're hard to get along with, well, if you can start to spot that, at least you can manipulate yourself not to be, so that you don't offend people, so that you can close that deal, so you can close that sale, so you can date that girl, so you can get married to that guy, right? You're manipulating ourselves. The person we got to trick is us, man. The person we got to motivate is ourselves. And what you need isn't so much motivation as inspiration. And that's what philosophy does for you. And any good business is going to have some sort of philosophical philosophy, or some people call it culture. You need one. And they talk about businesses having a business plan. Shit, you need a business plan. A business doesn't. You're the business of you, man. Give me your business plan. And part of your business plan should be getting yourself to being a millionaire, because as a millionaire, at least you have options. And you're not worried about food. You're not worried about going to dinner. You're not worried about paying your taxes, or if they jack up price of oil this week. Okay. You get what I'm saying? It's not an insurmountable amount of money. You know, it's not like you're a Rockefeller or something. This goal here is doable by anyone. And a kid sent me an email, and I don't know who he is. I covered his name. I don't know him. I didn't ask permission. And I posted on my story, and he says, "How do I get a second house?" And I said, "Hey, go watch this video. There's plenty of people better than me that teach this concept. But what I hope to give you is the philosophy of the damn thing. Just that you'll get off the couch and go do it, man." And if we're trying to get to 1 million, there's a couple ways we could do it. We could just save money. Good luck. You're not going to save your way to $1 million. I never met. If you make enough damn money, I guess you would. I mean, you know, if you make $500K a year, save most of your money. In 3 years, you got $1 million. Not that hard, right? Not that hard. But I don't make $500,000. And matter of fact, I only get paid based on my skill set or my time. Exchanging my time or my skill. And this number here is pretty big. If we shrink it down to 10 years, that's $100,000 a year. Well, where are you going to get $100,000 to set aside? And you're like, well, I can't do that. Well, then the number just got bigger. And we can take this and divide it. And we talked about time times amount times yield. And you may have never looked at money like this, but it's like pick an amount, divide it by the number of years, back it out, take it down to how much it would be per day. And then it's like, how could I create that? I can't make that much. Well, no shit, me either. So if you saw it last night, Southern Electric paid me $160. Right? They gave me $160, man. I didn't do any work for it. We got anybody on here? All right, man, we got a few people. So, $160. I didn't do anything. That's nice. What if we get 220 tomorrow? What are we at? Shoot, we're at 380. It's only been 2 days. I didn't do anything. How much is that worth? How much is $380 you didn't do anything for? They just give it to you. Is that the same value as working for it? So if you made $10 an hour, you got to go work for 38 hours. I didn't do any work. That's not fair. What if this is this number? What if it's $3,800 and I didn't do any work? That's really not fair. And then what if I don't need the money? That sucks. Like, what if this guy needs the money? So when he gets $160, man, I got to eat on that. And if he gave him 220, I got to push that over here. But let's say I don't need to. And all of a sudden we begin to realize philosophically, if you don't need money, you get a bunch of it. The moment you need it to live, your money goes away. And that's a philosophy. And you have to decide, okay, wow. And this is where I came up with this idea of the 9 thoughts on getting rich. And thought number 3, that we have to structure our life around it. And so if my goal is $1 million, because I think that's a good goal, man. And I'm going to show you how you could do it pretty quick, man. It's not as slow as you might think. This kid sent me an email and he said, man, how do I get my second house? And I was like, bro, I'm going to tell you a basic deal. $175,000 for a house. Now, I don't want to pay $170,000, but I'm looking for a house in the $170,000, $200,000 range. This is the art of money getting. So I go looking for this. And I know I need a down payment. And for me, it's 20%. So and I don't want to pay this, but if the deal was $175,000, what is that? 35K? 35,000. I mean, that's a long ways from $1 million. But you're there. You're further than zero. Let's see. All right. So as we go about this art of money getting, hey, go check out TSLL AMZU. Go read on that. That's your homework, man. If you're a friend of mine, don't be a dummy. If I ask you about these, you should have an appropriate response. You got a little time. Go look them up. Learn about this. So the art of money getting, I'm trying to get $1 million. I know I got time times amount times yield. If I try to save this in 10 years, that's $100,000 a year. That's like $8,000 a month. That seems unrealistic. But if I saved $8,000 a month in 10 years, I would have $1 million. Is there a faster way than that? Because I don't have $8,000. And I didn't have $8,000 most of my life, and I got to $1 million. And you're like, well, how's that possible? Well, we got to put our money into things that leverage, that rocket. And go look at this. This is a different kind of leverage, but it's leverage. But it's a different kind. It's a more dangerous kind. Now this here, I'm not paying $175,000. So what I'm going to show my friend that sent me the email is I'm saying, listen, sir, let me show you the fastest path to becoming a millionaire in your situation. You have a job, you have a wife, you have a kid, and you have a house. You're not going to start Apple. Probably not going to start a business with any employees. You have a job, maybe you have a side hustle. How do we take that and turn that into, say, $4 million? It's a lot of money. Is it possible? I mean, you're going to be 50. You're going to be my age one day. I'm 52. Trust me, you'd rather have 4 million than no million. Trust me on that. That's wisdom right there. So when you're my age, you at least want 4. I mean, I got 4 and feel broke. So, this is a value equation, by the way. And we talked about in the last video, remember, back to the basics. Back to the basics. I'm trying to get you basically to see the concept of how you become a millionaire. I 4X'd it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Take it back to 1. I don't know how much time you want to spend. 20 years is too long for me, man. I mean, how long you guys want to spend on this? Oh, somebody bought a badge. You're very kind. I'm going to go back and look. Man, that's what I need to do. I got about 10 books I need to give away. I got to figure out the best way to do that. They're from the old printing. And we printed the money flow in a new printing. I like it a lot better. So I'm gonna get rid of the old ones. But if we're trying to get to $1 million, I got 35,000 saved. How long does that take you? I don't know. I know, but I can't let this keep me down in life, man. That's not that big a number. There's a lot of people that'll struggle on this number. It's really hard to get to these numbers if you spend a lot of time struggling on the 20,000. And a lot of times the way you get to the 35,000 is doing a 10,000 or a 15,000. Meaning this is just an example. We can take that number down and it may go higher. I know people start their first deal with 70, 80,000. Okay. So I got $35,000 into this house. Now in a perfect world, this house is worth 200 grand, or I'm not even trying to do this deal. Like I need to see some equity. I need a bump at the end. When I get the keys and I fix this place up and we're done and I put a tenant in there, it needs to be worth more, at least to me. Shit, I'm the one keeping the books. It needs to be worth more. When I look at it, I'm like, all right, this is a $200,000 house, or I don't do this deal. So I never do a deal where it's even money. Meaning I need to see something. Oh, we could fix this if we added this, if we painted it, if we fixed the yard, if we maybe put a wall here or built this porch out, or shit, they just got it listed low. If we did this or this, when we're done, it's worth more. And that's called equity. So down payment is part of my cost, right? 35 grand in. And then I'm going to carry a note on this for 140K. And every month, that's going to cost me a little money. Now to do this deal, like my friend, he's got to save up $35,000, man. Now he may have the money, be like, wow, I got 20 here and 10 here. Man, I don't know. So you don't do it. Then you just keep your little money. And time keeps it ticking. This is the problem. This is the problem with procrastination. This is the problem when I went to the Army for 7 years and I'm detached from this game. 7 years goes by. Because if I show you what happens, if I get you to put $35,000 down, you're carrying a 140 note, and this house is pushing up toward this. Let's say it's not. Let's say when we're done, it's just worth 180. You're carrying a note, right? So this money's already in the game. You didn't lose your money. It just went from checking account to 4 walls. Now you're in the art of money getting. Now you've transcended cash, and now you're in the game of put money to work game that sends me money back. So when I wake up today and old Southern Electric gives me 160 bucks, I didn't do anything for that. I didn't call them. I didn't go to a meeting. Here. Because at some point in my life, I took time. Maybe it wasn't 35K. Maybe it was 2K. And I put it in that deal with them. And I just left it. And so while I'm showing you a house here, it doesn't have to be a house, right? So maybe he gets the 35K by putting money in utility stocks. A lot of times people ask me, they want to invest money for real estate in the stock market. It's like, no, that's a bad idea. Because the market's going to go down. You're going to do something fucking stupid. The chances are that's what happens. Whenever I see people put money in the market, the moment the market gets crashed, they second guess their decision. They lose they're all jacked up then. And it's like, so then they bail out on that. Then they end up not getting the real estate. It's like, no. Now, there are real estate assets that are very real estate-like. There are stock assets that are very real estate-like. Utility companies, there's closed-end funds, there's stuff for fixed income. So there's ways to do it, but don't go out and put it in fucking Amazon, Tesla, and CRM and fucking NFTs and Bitcoin. You would go put it into something that's just stupidly boring that generates a drip, and you would just pile your money in there. And when it gets to 35K, here's the problem. It gets to 35K and they can't pull the trigger because it's invested in something that's been going up. And maybe you only got 20 in it. And now it runs to 35 and you're over here, man, I don't know if I can pull it. And so you never end up executing on the deal. This is the problem when you take money and put it over here, unless you can execute and move it from deal to deal and not feel bad about it, not second guess yourself. If you can actually follow through and execute, then yeah, you could do that. But in my experience, a lot of people stumble when it comes to the execution, or stumble when they hit trials and tribulations and market cycles and, things get all fucked up, man. So as long as you got that worked out in your head, I have no problems keeping money in the stock market. I have no money selling a stock for a loss to go buy a piece of property. I'll think about it for 2 fucking seconds. There is zero hang up. The money that I have is the money that I have. The balance when I log in is what the balance is. It's not a magical balance that's somewhere. This is what it is. And so if I'm trying to execute on a deal that I think is going to work, that's going to give me money every month. All right, man, that's a good a spot as any to pause. We'll get back to part 2 over the next day or 2. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the video if you'd like to see more. Hey, take some period of time every year to get back to the basics. That's December. Let's get back to the basics so we can hit 2023.